welcome to session 5. It's understanding reports and next steps. Today we will dedicate our full attention to data available on Omnisend, and here's what we will cover. So we will talk about what data we track, the different reports on Omnisend we have, and finally we will talk about the next steps and key takeaways. So we already talked about the different features you can set up with Omnisend. To grow your subscriber list, you can enable Omnisend sign-up forms and opt in via the store checkout for email and phone number subscribers. Advanced users can connect Facebook Messenger, push notifications, and also collect information, opt-in for those channels and use them for communication. You can enable automation workflows that are trigger-based, and those happen on the events happening on your store. And that way you can send automated omnichannel messages to your clients. And finally, you can send promotions using campaigns feature and set up email, SMS, or push notifications campaigns to share your promotions. Using all of those features will help you grow your business. But if you wish to get most out of using Omnisend, you should definitely monitor the performance of your store based on the different features you use, analyze the trends, and use that information to grow your business. So what data do we track? We track a variety of different metrics on Omnisend, like open and click rates based on a particular campaign, automation workflow, or even a specific message in the flow. We also track, of course, sales, orders, and revenue, so total or attributed to a campaign, automation flow, or contact. We track spam, bounce, and unsubscribe rates, some of the data that you should definitely keep an eye on to understand if your list is clean and your promotions are relevant. We also track activity per device, message sent, activity per channel you use for communication, or even activity per individual contact. We track audience growth, and we track events on your store, email performance by domain, and a lot more of the different data. So let's go through the different reports we have on Omnisend. I will switch to product now. Once you collect a few weeks of data on Omnisend, you can start analyzing how your store is performing, what works for you well, and the areas that you can actually improve. So the Omnisend dashboard actually shows the overall performance of your store. You can find it here in the dashboard. You will find sales performance graph, as I'm showing it here, where you can check the revenue from Omnisend. So you can see total revenue from Omnisend and percentage on how that increased throughout the period you selected. You can also see revenue from campaigns, from automation, and total store revenue. You can also switch the graph and check the number of orders placed, and you can choose the time frame for the different time frames, just to check how your campaigns or automation are performing in a particular time period. Dashboard is a great way to monitor your sales by dates and different features that you use. For example, if you can see that revenue from campaigns is low, for example, you can check whether you've been sending campaigns frequently, or maybe you missed some recently, and so on. So this is a great way for you to check how you're doing, how your store is doing. If you scroll down, you will see the audience growth graph as well. And here's where you can actually check new engagers on email or SMS. So customers that actually subscribed on your store with email or with a phone number. Using this graph, using the numbers provided here, you can actually compare maybe the subscribe rate is lower compared to the previous 7 days. This can be affected by multiple factors. And for example, national holidays, extreme situations like COVID, or maybe it's time to make a change to your pop-up. So definitely look into into these numbers as well. This will help you decide if you need a new form with a discount, or you need just to adjust the one that you have, or set up the exit intent pop-up and so on. So here's what you can see in the audience growth and also the time frames as well. What else you can find in the reports is the live view. And it will show you how many active visitors are currently online. Here you go, and visits today, as well as activity per each visitor, what we call an event. You can filter the data here by the time frame, but also filter by the visitor, whether this is an anonymous visitor or known visitor, as well as by the different events like product viewed, purchased, and so on. If the visitor is already registered on your store, we will recognize him on Omnisend. So as you can see, I was recognized on my store as I'm already subscribed. But if we cannot recognize that visitor, anonymous ID will be shown. Let me just scroll a little bit. Maybe I will find it here. A lot of visits today, like this one. We are refreshing data here every 5 seconds, so you can actually spy on what is happening on your store in real time. If your visitors, for example, browse a lot, maybe it's time to set up the browse abandonment automation workflow. If they view a specific product but don't purchase, maybe it's a good idea to enable the product abandonment workflow. You can also check which products are the most popular ones and set an abandoned cart flow based on that particular product. So a lot of information can actually be found here in the live view. We use website tracking to get this data, so it's only available after you fully integrate your store. And we store data here from 1 to up to 18 months, depending on what pricing plan you have. If you wish to check your campaign, automation workflow, or sign-up forms reports, you should head to Reports tab here. And you will find the different reports. So in the Campaigns tab, you can actually see how each of your campaign is performing. And campaign reports are actually the main source of information when it comes to monitoring how well your campaigns are doing. Opens, click rates, sales. If you deep dive into each of them, so you can view the actual report, you will see a lot of different metrics. A lot of different metrics, including the unsubscribe, reported as spam, or bounce contacts. And that will help you understand how engaged your audience is. So for example, open rates here show how many clients have opened your campaign that you send out. To track whether an email has been opened, we place the tracking pixel in the email. Clicks help understand how many subscribers have clicked on the links you provided in your campaign. And those metrics, open and click rates, depend on various different reasons, such as campaign subject lines, context that you use, and more. So for example, if you see low campaign open rates, consider changing the subject lines. Now, we have some great examples on the best converting subject lines on Omnisend blog, for example. You can also look into the content that you're sending to improve the click rates. So you should definitely avoid the plain campaigns. Make sure you have a lot of clickable areas in your campaigns, like a clickable logo or image, the main image that you have. In that case, as soon as your customer clicks on that area, he's redirected to your store. Also, send your campaigns to engaged audience and get rid of that all database, and unsubscribe contacts, inactive contacts immediately if you notice higher unsubscribe, reported as spam, or bounce rates. So here is where the bad metrics come in. Uh, Unsubscribe means that your customers decided to unsubscribe from your newsletters, and hard bounces, an email message that has been returned to the sender, because it can happen with various reasons. So maybe your recipient address is no longer valid. A hard bounce might also occur because the domain name does not exist or the recipient is unknown. So there can be various reasons for the hard bounces to happen. And the spam reports, those are the customers who marked your email as spam. To avoid spam complaints, make sure that your unsubscribe link is easy to find in your newsletter footer. In Omnisend, what we do is we unsubscribe bounce contacts and those that report you as spam immediately to make sure that they don't take further actions. We of course show the sales that particular campaign generated for your store, and also some more detailed view from the 24-hour performance here. So you can actually see the times when your customers opened your campaign. So consider those when you send your campaigns. And we also have the device report here. So you can actually see which devices your customers use mostly to open and click your newsletters. And make sure that your campaigns look good on, for example, mobile, if this is the main device that your customers use. And if you want to open your campaign in the web version, so you can just click view email and your actual campaign will be opened in the link. Okay, what a great feature that we have is our click map, where you can actually see how like which content was most engaging for your clients, what products were the most interesting. So if you click into the click map, you will be able to see the areas where your customers clicked most, and it will actually help you prepare your next campaign. So click map is very good to actually identify what's working best. So for example, here we can see that this image was clicked, so make sure that you provide a link to your store under this image, and so on. And what's important to note here is that the click map can only be seen for email campaigns, so not for automation. Okay, I'm heading back to reports, and we will check automation workflows reports. So just go to automations. With each individual flow, you will actually be able once again to see the overall information about how many messages were sent, how many opened and clicked. But if you go into a detailed report, I'll go into this one, you will be able to see how many customers entered this workflow, how many exited, as well as how many are still in the flow, meaning that they have not exited yet. The information below is the emails, the message sent chart. And below that, you can actually see how each of the message performed. So if you have different messages in your workflow, you will see the performance by all of them. What is great that you can actually check the performance Here's the message. So, for example, in this example, the first message was sent to 119 customers, and the second is 76. And you can see open and click rates as well as sales based on the message. It will really help you to understand which message works better and converts to more customers. And yeah, what I also wanted to mention is that you can check the performance based on the different channels you use. So for this example, I only have email in my workflow, but if you're using SMS or Facebook Messenger or more, you can actually check the performance here as well. What is important to note, if you see a high number of unsubscribes, spam reports, or bounced for the automation workflows, you need to review your marketing strategies and eliminate the source, whether it's customers providing fake email addresses to the sign-up forms or low engagement sequences like customer reactivation one. Just review the triggers, delays, and sign-up form settings to make sure you don't have too many unsubscribes, spams, and bounces. Okay, we also have the activity tab here. So if you click in that, you will be able to filter who opened the message, who purchased individually by contact. So as you can see, for each different channel based on the action. So I can also see who unsubscribed, for example, from this particular workflow. If you need to troubleshoot the workflows, it's best, for example, if your customer is stating that he did not receive the email, try and check the audience tab. If that user is actually in your audience, this is the first step. And for example, if the customer did not receive the welcome email or the birthday automation workflow, check if that customer status is subscribed, as only subscribed users can receive those emails. So check the audience first if you need to troubleshoot your automation workflows. And the last portion is sign up forms in the reports. So sign up forms, and we'll just open one of those, will actually show you how many views each of the forms had, as well as how many actually signed up, and the conversion rate. So I have this one enabled, view report. You will also see the information based on location, which countries are most converting, as well as language, and we take the language that their browser provides to us. And for the forms, we also have devices reports, so you can actually see which devices are mostly used to sign up. So once again, make sure your form looks good on all of the devices that your customers use. Sign-up forms can actually help you understand which forms convert better and where your customers are located, so you can send location, for example, based promotions. And yes, you can download the reports. If you go to the reports, you can actually download campaigns, automation, or sign-up forms reports, and you can open them in Excel and calculate any other essential data, like, for example, average sale per recipient and more. If you go back to dashboard, we also have some advanced reporting. This feature was introduced for our Pro users, so you can actually find more detailed reporting on campaigns and on automation. So I will click in one. It's a little bit, it takes a little bit time to load. You can filter information based on the different criteria. So let's say anytime, just to show you some information. But it includes sales, clicks, and subscribes and open rates for different domains. And what is great is that you can actually check which campaigns worked best, performed best. some trends like total sales or open or click rates, and which campaigns are the best performing and the worst performing, also by total revenue, average order value, most opened, most clicked campaigns. What is also really exciting is that you can see the performance by domain. And for example, if you see a very low open rate for a particular domain, let's say hotmail.com, that can be a sign that the contacts you have on that domain are quite old and already inactive. What we recommend is regular contact list cleaning that you should perform twice a year. We talked more about this in session 2. By the way, Yahoo and Gmail providers, they actually have stricter rules in evaluating your sender reputation. So make sure you take good care of your contacts on those domains, and actually saying goodbye to inactive ones when the time comes will have more benefit for you in the future. And we also have advanced reporting for automation workflows as well, where you will find the workflows that generated most revenue, highest conversion rate, highest open rate, and the highest click-through rate as well. So a lot more detailed reports that are available for our pro users. And yes, you can also download those reports as well. It's very exciting. It's here. Okay, let's briefly remember what looks good on your campaigns and automation, and what you should aim for and what you should avoid. So we will go into our last topic, next steps. So once you have some data, you can actually check, and we also talked about this in our sessions about campaigns and automation. So what looks good? So as we can see, segmented campaigns can have really good open click rates and order rates compared to the non-segmented campaigns. If you're sending non-segmented or campaigns, for example, check if your open rate is not less than 15%. If it is less, then it's time to look into your campaign context, subject lines as well, and review if you have enough clicks and so on. Same goes for segmented campaigns if your open rates are not that good. As we can see, we have limits for all of the campaigns for bounce rates. So your campaign should not reach more than 4% or more of bounce rates, of bouncing contacts. We tolerate 0.1% of spam complaints and 1% of unsubscribe rate. So once again, make sure you take care of your list, of your contact list, as well as provide unsubscribe options for your clients. And some automation metrics. So as you can see, automation workflows can have huge open rates. Of course, the ones related to the transaction have highest open rates and click rates, as those are related to customer orders, like order confirmation one. Welcome automation is has also good engagement because customers are usually expecting welcome automation when they sign up. We also see good open rates for custom automation workflows like segment contact enters the segment and so on. So also compare the open rates that you have for your automation workflow. If you see low open rates, make sure that you review if you're sending your automation workflow to the right audience. If your messages are engaging, if your content is engaging, and if there is anything that you need to change while communicating to the customer, maybe boost more engagement using different channels, as of course customers use more of the SMS nowadays, or Facebook Messenger and so on. So once you have some data that you can start monitoring, you should start identifying common activity, what content your customers engage most with, what newsletter headlines earn more opens, which products are mostly abandoned on your store, which days bring you the most engagement with the newsletters, and what forms convert more visitors to subscribers. So identify common activity. Once you identify common activity, use those patterns to target your communication. Segments in the audience tab will help you filter out your most engaged most engaged audience. That will help you get closer to those high open and click rates, thus of course better sales. So use segments to help you out to target your communication to relevant customer groups. To engage audience more, make sure you share a storyline of your brand, so your customers get to know you better. Give something to your community, and only then push for more sales. As an example, one of our customers sells some kitchen inventory. What they do, they share a recipe with their subscribers with every single campaign that they send, and only then, after the recipe, they add a few products that they sell that actually go with the recipe. So think outside the box. What can you share as a brand? And then you will see customers will definitely purchase in return. And finally, review your campaigns and automation workflow strategy. See where your customers are located and create, for example, a national holiday calendar based on those countries and send your promotions. Use our A/B email test campaigns to test which subject lines earn more opens, or create a browse abandonment flow if your shoppers browse your store a lot but don't purchase. Use more channels in both campaigns and automation for best results. And finally, some takeaways from this session. So use Omnisend reports to check your store's performance, email or other channel like SMS activity, sales, and engagement. You can check overall performance of your store in our Omnisend dashboard. You can track shopper activity in live view. You can use individual campaign automation or sign-up form reports to measure success of the different strategies you use for communication. And you can use advanced reporting if you are a pro, where you can check best performing campaigns and flows, email domain performance, and more. To analyze contact behavior, find common patterns and trends, and use that information to grow your business. So find the campaigns that have highest open rates and learn from the subject lines and content that drives most engagement and most opens. Reuse the model for other messages. Use our campaign click map to see where your contacts click most and make sure you have links that lead to your store in those places. See which messages work best in automation workflows and which channels increase your sales most. And finally, sunset all the inactive emails to earn outstanding sender reputation from Google, Yahoo, and other email service providers. If you keep an eye on your bounces, spam, and unsubscribe metrics and clean your list when those metrics get closer to our set limits, or as well as clean your list at least twice a year, you will definitely have better deliverability for those clients that are still actually interested in your brand, and of course that will help you earn more sales. Wow, that is it. This was our final session. I really hope you found the whole onboarding course useful. If you wish to rewatch any of the previous onboarding sessions, head to our omnisend.com website, look for resources and onboarding course. If you have any questions, feel free to use our self-service knowledge base and contact our support team via in-app chat, Facebook, or support@omnisend.com. We are here to help 24/7. Best of luck to you all!